Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you cruise a little smarter and travel to Aulani as well. And joining me this week to talk about our spring break over in the Hawaiian Islands is my beautiful wife. How you doing today, Ahnawake?
Very good.
So we finally made it back to the islands for spring break. It's been quite a while, to be honest. 2 years since I've been in Aulani, but you were there a little bit recently.
Oh, I was, yeah. We took a little girls' trip last spring.
Yeah.
It was a good thing.
Yeah, so I didn't realize how much I missed Aulani, I guess, and just being back in the islands. It was a great 7 or 8 days that we were over there.
8 days total, yeah.
8 days total. And so who went on this trip? It was the four of us, our two kids, which Andrew, our oldest, wasn't supposed to come with. And so we let Alex bring a buddy with, Charlie. And but at the last minute, Andrew ended up joining us as well.
It was a good deal.
And why was that?
Well, Andrew was supposed to go to Peru for spring break with a Spanish group from class. And with the unrest that's going on in Peru right now, it got canceled. So we brought him along with us.
Yeah, luckily we had a one-bedroom booked.
Right, it is, yeah. I mean, although Alex and the buddy were like, wait a minute, we have to sleep on the pull-out couch together?
Right. Luckily, we'll talk about the room here when we get to it, but luckily a one-bedroom at Aulani sleeps 5, and we were able to squeeze 5 into my parents' condo as well, plus them. So right. 7 people in my parents' condo.
It was a little bit tighter at the condo than it was in the one bedroom.
So overall, what were your thoughts about being back in the islands and being back to Aulani?
I just love it. It's peaceful. It's I don't know, just it's good for my soul.
Yeah,
the sun, the ocean, palm trees. I'm supposed to be there, I guess.
Warm weather and everything else, the beaches, all that type of stuff. So yeah, definitely good to be back there. So we're going to touch on a bunch of different topics. We'll talk about what we did before we went to Aulani, then we'll touch on Aulani and finish it up with a couple do's. I don't know if we'll have any don'ts or not, but we'll probably talk about maybe some don'ts along the way. But one thing that I want to throw out there for those of you who have not been over there before, if you're looking for a guidebook, which if you're still like me and enjoy the old guidebook kind of thing to look through, we still highly recommend the Revealed series. And for Oahu, it's called Oahu Revealed. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Barnes & Noble sometimes, and then some libraries have it. But that, I think, is still my go-to book as far as... It is a good one, yeah. Yeah, as far as, like, figuring out where to dine. You know, they're not always perfect, but they're locals that write the book. And
right,
so
exactly.
That gives them, I think, a little bit better perspective than somebody that doesn't live in the islands.
Yeah, for sure.
And to be fair, they used to be a little bit more critical on some things, a little bit more adamant about stuff, and I think they've kind of toned it down a little bit because... I'm not throwing them under the bus whatsoever. Just I think they before they would say, go to this shrimp truck, don't go to that shrimp truck. And now they kind of go, well, that shrimp truck's not so bad, but I still overall, and we actually used it, and we'll talk about that in just a second, to book some surf lessons up on the North Shore. Yes. So. All right, so totally recommend that. The second thing we want to touch on is...
I guess, sorry, they do have one for each island. So yeah. It's not just an overall... islands in general, but there's an Oahu and a Maui and whatever. Yeah. Right.
Hawaii, the big island, and Kauai as well. So we rented a car, just to throw it out there. It was $800 for the 8 days we were there, and it was a Chrysler 300 is what it ended up.
Something like that.
it ended up being, but I booked that probably about 6 months out. We still use Costco Travel generally to book. I think they have pretty good prices. We are members for Avis, and so I always like going through Avis. It's just...
quick and easy.
Yeah, quick and easy. I know how to navigate it since we're part of their reward system and everything like that. It's easy to get the cars, but a little bit pricier than normal, $800. But that was about 6 months out. When I checked it, and one of the tips that we always recommend is just keep going back and looking, especially Florida, because as it gets closer, a lot of times in Florida, the price is going to drop. But this time it did not.
I know, we were like, wow, okay, I guess that's what we're paying.
Yeah, when I looked a couple weeks out, it was like $2,000 for the 8 days. So Hawaii, you might want to make sure that you book that if you're going to plan on using a car a little bit further out. I will say that if you don't want to book a car, you can still book, like a car for a day out at Aulani through Alamo. They still have cars and a desk out there that you can reserve cars.
And they do have a shuttle, airport shuttle.
Yeah, we talked to somebody
we talked to at the pool, which I didn't realize there was, but I guess there is.
So don't have much on that. But
Right, that's it.
maybe do your research and check with Aulani to see what type of shuttle services they might recommend to get if you're not going to book a car to get out there. Also, obviously, you can use Uber and Lyft, and I didn't check the prices this time. So, but if you want to have the most mobility, especially if you're DVC, if you're not DVC and you're paying...
you got to pay to park.
Cash, you got to pay to park. But if you're DVC, man, I think it's pretty expensive. It's like $35 or $40 a day.
It can add up for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're DVC member, that's included in your membership. So... that is a good deal. We like having a car to be able to get out and about. So the first thing that we did on our first day was we went to the USS Missouri. What did you think about that?
We went one time years and years ago, and I enjoy it. It's kind of, my dad was in the Navy, so it kind of is a weird nostalgia kind of thing for me to like imagine what it would have been like for him. You know, he wasn't on that kind of ship, but it's just really cool. It's like a window back into history. It's kind of fun.
And what do you get to see when you're on it?
Where everybody lives, where they ate. There's a mail room. There's a dentist office. Everything. It's a little town right out there in the water.
The kids still get a kick out of climbing into the bunks. It's similar to
yeah. And you learn that it's better to be a higher rank than a lower one because they get nicer places to live. And you also probably do not want to be on the bottom bunk.
Probably not. But the USS Missouri was a battleship that was around in World War II, and it was recently, actually was in the first Gulf War as well, and then they decommissioned it. And it's out on Ford Island. If you know your military history or Hawaiian history, it's parked out at Ford Island near where the USS Arizona and a lot of the other battleships were. We did not visit the Arizona because I kind of dropped the ball as far as trying to book tickets out there. If you're going to visit the Arizona, your two choices are to really book early, get on there as soon as you can. I think it's 6 months out. I'm not sure what the national parks are for getting bookings for there.
But really, as soon as you can. It does definitely fill up.
Yeah, or the other option is to go through a tour group where you're going to pay $50 or so a person to go out there and visit it. That'll include your admission out to the USS, or going out on the little boat that takes you out to see the memorial of the Arizona, and we didn't think it was really worth that for us this time.
I will say it is definitely worth making the effort to make the trip. It's really interesting. There's a museum there. There's the boat out to the Arizona. They show you a movie. It's it seems like a long time ago, but then it also wasn't that long ago. So I think it's worth just revisiting and learning about what happened and learning how it happened, and all of those good things are applicable throughout history.
Right. So one of the things that, like, I know Nova from our show and several other people, Chad, who is going this summer, has done the same thing. One thing that we might recommend is, if you're going to be at Aulani for 2 weeks, then you can break it up, obviously, from Aulani and go out and visit these things. If you're only going to be there at Aulani for a couple of days, probably the best thing to do is maybe find a hotel in Waikiki or someplace else.
And do those things.
And do some of the island things so that you have, because you're spending a lot of money when you're at Aulani, you get to really enjoy the resort while you're there. So this is kind of what we did too. So we had 3 days basically to kind of do things around the island before we went to Aulani. Actually 2 days.
2 full days, yeah.
So we went to the Missouri, and then because Charlie was with us, Alex's friend, he'd never been to Waikiki before, we decided to go down to Waikiki, just kind of walk along Kalakau, which is the main boulevard down there. We didn't really do the beach because we were all we didn't have any like our beachwear stuff. But I wanted to go check out the oldest hotel, the Royal Hawaiian, the Pink Hotel, and just walk through the lobby there just to kind of show them what. That was the very first hotel that was built, I believe, on Waikiki. And
I think so. I think that's accurate. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to go see a little bit of a window in time, and then of course they wanted to go see the lid store, and then also the sneaker store.
It's the same as it is the mall at home. I'm not buying anything there.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was kind of cool to just have a quick stop down in Waikiki and do that. One other thing we did that day is we got some malasadas. What are malasadas, Ahnawake?
They're Portuguese donuts.
So everybody loves fried dough.
Fried dough. It is the Portuguese Hawaiian version of fried dough.
It seems
with cinnamon sugar on top. It's very good.
So Leonard's is probably the most famous. Their main
Pink Box.
Pink Box, yeah. Their main bakery is downtown Honolulu. But if you're heading out to Aulani, they have a bakery truck in Waikele, which is probably about halfway between the airport and Aulani, and it's in a parking lot with Safeway. So just Google Waikele Safeway.
I'll tell you that it's exit number 7 off of the H1.
There you go, exit number 7 off the H1, and you can give those malasadas a try. And I guess I would recommend they're kind of a little, and Andrew was saying this too, a little bit dry. If you just get the plain ones, that you can get some with a cream filling inside, and I'd recommend maybe mix it up, get some with cream and some that are plain.
Yeah.
So the next day we got up and we went up to Haleiwa, which is one of our favorite little towns up on the North Shores. Not only is it our favorite town, but I think everybody else's favorite town now.
Favorite town too. Yeah. It is no longer undiscovered.
No, so it gets a little bit busy. Although if you go next door, there's a we used to go to, we didn't go at this time, but there's a sugar factory, an old sugar mill, where they've got a couple different things there. There's a guy that makes surfboards, they make candles, and then there's this kind of like, I don't even know, knick-knack shop that has a little bit of everything.
It's kind of like old general store kind of. I mean, they sell all sorts of stuff. You know, now it's mostly, you can't buy a bag of flour in there anymore. But they sell coffee and ice cream and
some cool Hawaiian touristy knickknacks to take home.
And different kind of stuff than you can find in a regular store.
So that's called the Wailua Sugar Mill, and that is close to Haleiwa, and not very many people know about it.
No, that's not crowded.
And go over there. So things to do in Haleiwa, they've got I can't say it now.
Matsumoto's Shave Ice, which is you'll know when you drive past because it's the one with the big line.
Yeah.
And the crowd.
we decided not to stop. The kids didn't want to stop for it, but that's always the line goes pretty fast.
It does go fast, yeah.
Even if you see it. What's funny is it used to be this rickety little shack and stuff like that, and now they tore it down and they've really fixed up downtown to make it look like this quaint little old Hawaiian town, but it's all kind of modern. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer the rickety little shack that it was. So we used the Oahu Revealed. We were going to go down. Having older kids, you got to get them out doing something. I wanted to go and take them surfing. And my plan was to go down to Waikiki and just do it down there. You can book through Aulani, but it's pretty pricey. It was probably about twice the price to book through Aulani, and it was only an hour. And I was like,
I think it's even 45 minutes.
It's an hour. So 15 minutes, they teach you what you do, and then 45 minutes in the water. And it's like, man, that's going to go by really quick.
It wouldn't have been enough.
No. So this one was 2 hours for probably half the price. I think it was like $35. And we went through Uncle Brian's. Once again, Oahu Revealed. You can find him in there. It talks a little bit about them. But Uncle Brian's is just, they've got a van with a bunch of cool kids that know how to surf. Yeah. And they promise you that everybody's going to get up and ride. And we all did, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is not, okay, now everybody, the North Shore is where the big waves are in the winter. We were not.
No, no. I will say that when you're out there, you feel like you're on a big wave. And then you see the pictures and you're like, oh, wow, that's sort of embarrassing. That was not a big wave at all.
kind of a wimpy looking little wave.
Wimpy wave. I felt cool, though.
Yeah. It's Haleiwa Beach Park, so it's at the end of the road into Haleiwa, and they have like a little break there, and highly recommend it.
Kind of a bay, like a secluded sort of bay. Yeah, it was nice.
So 2 hours, probably about 15 minutes, kind of checking it out, or 15 minutes kind of teaching you what you're going to do and getting to the board and out into the water.
Get situated, yeah.
And probably about an hour and a half or so on the water where they're kind of cycling you through. And just super good guys, super fun guys.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Everybody got up. Everybody had a good time. I got some really good pictures. I got a really fun picture that I really enjoy of Alex and Charlie surfing together on a wave. Yeah,
there's a photographer guy, which, we aren't usually purchasers of those things, but we were like, let's do it. And he took some great pictures.
Yeah, I'm glad. That's the one time I'm glad we actually paid for some pictures.
Right.
So after that, we went to Killer Tacos. That was recommended in the book. And actually, all the surf guys were like, no, don't go there. They
told us to go someplace else, but the someplace else was closed.
Yeah, it was I can't remember what it was called
either.
But it was a food truck there. It was another, where everybody's thinking about just getting some tacos. And it was like habaneros or something like that. Anyways, that was close. So we went to Killer Tacos, and it was actually really good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was well worth it.
We all thought the carnitas was the best.
Yeah, it was a little spicy. It was good.
Spicy, yeah.
Yeah, so we did Killer Tacos, and then we went up to the Turtle Beach where my mom works, Ahnawake Beach, and it's kind of crazy sometimes. We got lucky that a turtle actually came up.
We did see a turtle, yep.
So that, unfortunately, is a very popular beach. The traffic can get pretty intense right there. Well, just a little stop and go. Once you get past that, generally the traffic flows around the rest of the way around the island if you're going to do an island tour. But outside of Haleiwa, the first beach you come to if you're heading towards Sunset Beach is called Ahnawake, and you'll know it when you get there because there's going to be a ton of people running across the road and everything.
But they have over the years they have done it is considerably better now than it used to be, and there is more of like an actual parking lot, and there's, some barricades so that people aren't walking on the street, and they now have a crosswalk set up, and, it's better. But you still are literally running across the road.
Right. And there is a place, what's the name of the luau over in Paradise Cove, right? Paradise Cove
That's
Luau?
at Kaolina, yeah.
Yeah, so at Kaolina, right next to Aulani, there's Paradise Cove, and there's a beach behind there, and a lot of times you'll see turtles there. And just make sure, and monk seals. Two things: make sure you don't try and touch the turtles or the monk seals,
because the Hawaiians they're both endangered animals, and the Hawaiians are very serious about protecting them. And if you get too close, you might get to meet the police.
Yeah, and they had a monk seal that came up on the beach in Aulani. I'd never seen that when you were there.
When we were there in May, there was a monk seal on the beach, and then in addition to the locals being not happy if you get near the turtles or the seals bite. So you don't want to get too close to the seals, because the seal doesn't want you close to them either.
And there was some guy that was trying to touch it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he bit him.
Did he really?
That's what the lady said.
Oh, the lady
at
said
the pool.
Okay.
Anyway, the same lady that told us about the shuttle. So.
Oh, no, I'm talking about when you were there.
Oh, no, nobody. Oh, yeah, there was some dude trying to get close to it when we were there. And I was, trying to direct him.
And I think the people that worked down at the beach for Aulani too were like trying to get him away from the So just don't go near the turtles. You get close and get a picture of them and everything like that, but don't.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to be 10 feet away or something like that. So.
But don't try and touch them or the sea lions. Yeah. It's not good.
It's not a good choice.
All right, so touristy place, Dole Plantation. As we were coming back from the beach, we were like, once again, Charlie had never been there. Dole Plantation, I'm gonna probably steer most people away from it unless it's really a place you really want to go.
When we had small children who loved the train, we did that every single time.
Yeah.
Every time. And we could probably still recite the little thing that they say, but it's fun with little kids, and it is fun to hear about the pineapple growing and the history and all that kind of stuff, but it's expensive to do some of the stuff there, and just remember it's very touristy, and I would probably recommend if you really want to do the train too without wasting several maybe hours of your time or an hour. I would get there early. Yes.
Because
late afternoon is nuts.
But if you just want to run in and get some Dole Whip, you can do that, and that's what we did.
And the lines look daunting, but they move very quickly. It's not as crazy as it appears.
Yeah, so a lot of times we'll just pop in and get some Dole Whip there, which is really good.
Yeah.
So if you like your Dole Whip in it.
At the source. Yeah,
people say it's better than what you're going to... Well, I'm going to guess it's better than what you get in Walt Disney World, but...
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how it compares to what you get at Aulani. I've never had the Dole Whip at Aulani.
Oh, no, me either.
Or on the cruise ship.
Oh, no, me either.
No, yeah,
so
you got to pay for it.
We're bad.
I know, you got to pay extra for that Dole Whip on the cruise ship. I just never do, so...
Yeah.
All right, so we dropped in there, and then this is my one tip. If you're a coffee drinker, the place that I found, and actually Adam, a good friend of mine, his mom found this place too, and she, I guess, he's told me that she gets it shipped wherever she goes.
Oh.
Green World Coffee, it's right next to Dole. You just Google it. You're going to drive by it, but it doesn't stand out. They don't have a big sign.
Right.
But they have really good coffee grown over there in the islands. So really enjoy that place. So that's kind of what we did beforehand. So why don't we turn our thoughts to Aulani? Woohoo! So, a couple things we had a hard time checking in for some reason online. It wouldn't let us do it. You have to have a 4-digit code to be able to pay for things using your Key to the World card. And they did have magic bands now that you can use.
I saw one guy using a magic band,
but not too many people were using them.
Yeah, literally the one guy.
Yeah,
one time.
You can buy them in the store there. They have Aulani specific ones, so up to you whether you want to do it. I'm not sure if you have magic bands from Walt Disney World, if they're going to work there.
Compare them, yeah.
I do not know that, but that is an option for you. But we had a hard time checking in on the app. For those of you who are DVC members that remember in the past, they used to be able to just drive up after you've done your online check-in, and they'll just hand you your packet there as you drive up. You can no longer do that. So what they'll do is if you have a car, you can unload all your stuff. If your room's not ready already, then you can check that in with Bell Services, and then you'll go inside. And they have two different lines. They have a line for DVC members, and they have a line for regular customers or regular people that are staying there. So if you're DVC, make sure you get in the DVC line.
Yeah.
It's a little bit shorter generally. And the check-in process was really quick. But the one thing to note is they no longer have, when you drop your luggage off with Bell Services, they used to have a cold storage area where they would put your food if you're bringing food, and they no longer have that, they said.
So, yeah, the other, heading out to Aulani, There's a Target on the way, and then that Safeway by Leonard's are probably...
And Costco.
Oh, and Costco. Yeah, good spots to stock up on snacks and water, sodas, all that good stuff that you can throw in the fridge. And I think that the kids drank like 58 gallons of Pog.
Yeah, they did. We did.
We were like, we just bought Pog. We're out of it again. And finally, Steve put his foot down. I am not going back to Target.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I will also say that Target has a better than normal Target bathing suit selection. Because it's summer all the time in Hawaii.
Yeah, so they've got a lot more summer stuff.
Yeah, we have done a lot of that, purchasing of swimsuits. Not because we forgot one, but because we knew that they had better ones than the ones in Oregon.
And a lot cheaper for your suntan lotion if you don't bring it with you. Make sure you stock up there as well, because what you're going to get... I went over to the ABC store, and it was like $12 for a small little spray bottle.
Right, yeah, Target's definitely the better for all of that kind of stuff.
Or Costco. Let's go back to the app really quick. So the app is actually useful now. Before, it really didn't do much. It's become a lot more useful, like the cruise line app. You can do your check-in there. You can reserve dining. And one thing that I found out, for those of you who know, in the community room, where you used to be able to, you just have to get down there at 7 o'clock in the morning to sign up for whatever activities there were during the day. You can now do that ahead of time on the app. And so they had a couple different things that you could go and do. One of them was like go make Mickey ears. It seemed like there was plenty of availability. That did sell out, I think, every day maybe while we were there. But you could look like, the next day, I'll just go the next day. The one thing I wanted to do was go to ukulele lessons. They only offered it on Thursday. We checked in on Monday. And on Monday, when I looked, it was already booked up. So I don't have an answer for this. But if you're going sometime soon, get on the app ahead of time and start looking to see when you can book. You can look at the different daily activities that are on the app of things that you can do, and we'll try and find an answer for you. But if anybody else has an answer, if you want to email me, steve@dclpodcast.com, and I'll try and get this information out there as far as how far out you can book. But I just know that like we checked in on Monday and we couldn't book the ukulele thing because it was already booked up. So obviously people are doing that ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So the app is much more versatile. You can, like I said, you can reserve dining and everything else. And also dining, you're going to want to reserve that. If you want to eat at Aulani, you're at Makahiki or Ama, you're going to want to do that ahead of time.
Or the Olelo room.
Yeah, or the Olelo room. I'm not sure how far out you can book the Olelo room, if that's like a daily thing to make reservations or not. That was
I will say, so on the day that we left, so we didn't participate in it, but they had a DVC member mixology class at the Olelo room, which would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, they've added that too. So they have mixology.
Like that. It was fun. Would have been fun.
They have a sake and sushi class you can do for adults. Oh, and then they had another one that was kind of dessert related, and I can't remember what it was. Those are all at an added cost. The ukulele and the making the Mickey ears, I know the ukulele wasn't. I think the Mickey ears one wasn't a cost either. Then they have, a tie-dye, a t-shirt, and that type of stuff too.
I'll bet, yeah.
Yeah, for a little bit of a cost. So lots of different activities you can do there besides the pools. Let's turn to the room. We had a one-bedroom this time.
Oh, really quick, if you have kids at the age that they're interested, the Auntie's Beach House is open, and I do think you have to reserve that ahead, because it did seem like that was filling up.
Yeah, another thing that you can do through the app, so I'm not sure, once again, how far out you can do. We're not being too helpful with that part of it. But yeah, Auntie's Beach House is open, and you do need reservations. They do, as I've walking back and forth, there's a drink station there, and hearing them talk to people.
That's kind of that. Me too. That's where my information comes from.
You can stand by. So if you didn't get into it that day or something like that, you can stand by as well to get in. So I'm not sure how successful. Probably your results may vary there.
Right.
All right, let's turn to the room. We had a one bedroom this time. What are your thoughts on the one bedrooms?
I enjoy the one bedroom. I enjoy that having the space, and that we have a regular refrigerator, and that we cook dinner a couple nights. It's nice to be able to have breakfast in there.
It's got a big washer and
dryer, which was super helpful.
Mm-hmm. And the room, I think the beds overall are comfortable. I mean, you have a big queen bed in the one bedroom itself, which we took.
It's a king bed.
King bed, yeah.
It's really nice.
And then
tub.
The bathrooms are really nice. It's just one bathroom, and unlike Animal Kingdom where they have two, I guess, bathrooms, you just have the one. So that worked out.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine for the five of us, and really nice showers.
Yeah, I enjoy. Yeah.
And there's a tub there as well. I think the beds are pretty good there's a pull-out trundle kind of bed that comes out of
the couch.
Well, there's the couch that comes out of the
and then like a Murphy bed underneath the TV, another twin bed that pulls down. Yeah.
And Andrew slept on that, and he said that was pretty comfortable too. So, so overall, I mean, I think they're pretty big rooms. I like the fact that we could cook there.
Yeah, it's nice.
We did that 3 times. We did like tacos one night, spaghetti, and then we grilled burgers. They have grills. It's the only time in DVC I've ever used the grills is at Aulani. We do like using the grills there. They keep them nice and clean. You can go down and get the utensils down at the community room, and you just check them out there, cook up your stuff. Of course, I was doing it the day we were cooking, the day the luau was going, so I could smell the luau and all the food coming from there.
Like, that seems better.
That seems better than our burgers, but
right.
But yeah, really enjoy the rooms there. We had our standard view of
the preview center or whatever
the convention center.
We haven't quite figured out if we get the rooms we get because we don't complain, or we had it last time. We don't know. We don't know how to do something other than but it's kind of become our standard family joke that we get the parking lot view.
Well, I know the answer.
Oh.
It's because we book the cheapest
we do book the cheapest room, but there has to be other cheap rooms, right?
Those are the cheap rooms.
I do get that, that they're not going to give us a fabulous pool view when you pay $1.50, but
I will say this: if this is your one big dream vacation to Aulani and you want that ocean view, go ahead and book it.
You know what?
But
there's one. Interrupt that.
Well, there's one caveat, and I'll let you talk about it.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say Steve's parents were with us for a couple of nights. They had, is it garden view that they had?
Pool view.
So they had the pool view. And then when I was there last May with girlfriends, we stayed, so Steve's parents were in the studio with the pool view. And then when I was there with my girlfriends, we had a studio with ocean view. And so not a lot of the rooms at Aulani face full front to the ocean. So it's always kind of at an angle unless you're in a big, huge 3-bedroom. So if it were me and I didn't want to look at the creasy garage view, I would probably book the pool view because it was prettier than the side view ocean room that we had.
And a lot of times the pool view, depending upon where you get, you're going to get probably just as much view of the ocean as you can on some of those there's some of those ocean views where you're looking at the island and then just a small sliver of the ocean as well. So just something to think about. The ones, if you got the big money and you can
the 3-bedrooms are all in the front of the building and it's gorgeous. And that's amazing. So that's,
But the way we look at it, in all honesty, I mean, 90% of the time we're outside of the room.
It doesn't really matter.
And so we're getting great views of the ocean as we're sitting out and enjoying the day along the beach or whatever. So it doesn't, not having that in the room doesn't matter to us as much, but we've been there so many times. But if this is your one big trip, I guess that's going to be up to you as far as how important that is for that ocean view. All right, let's talk about the pools and slides. Let's talk about the slides this time. And the pools.
I like the slides.
Yeah.
I like them both.
Which one do you like better? Come on.
I think I like the one where you don't go on the tube better.
Don't give away the secrets. So they know it. If you haven't been there, it's when you go down there, it's a fun dark ride. But I do like the one with the inner tubes as well. They got a couple
I like that
fun little drops. It drops you into the lazy river.
And I will say that one is as the kids have gotten bigger, that's more fun to ride with them because the more you weigh, the faster it goes.
And the bigger splash you get
at the end. Although Steve tried to drown me. But not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Accidental drowning.
And then that drops you right into the lazy river. Always enjoy going around the lazy river.
Around the lazy river, yeah.
A couple times. It is a race for some of the kids. It's not totally relaxing always.
No,
so.
there were some teenagers who will not be named who may have been playing tag in the lazy river when we were there.
Yeah, I'm glad we weren't there when they were there.
I'm glad I didn't know until after.
Yeah, I know. Our kids causing problems. All right, so one of the favorite things that we like to do, we like to go just right above the beach and away from the pools. There's a nice 2-tiered area there if we can find a chair. We will say that people were down there. It was spring break, but people were down there at 7 a.m. and putting stuff on the...
Mm-hmm. Interestingly, Saturday was the least crowded day. And I don't know if that's because people come for spring break and so they're checking out on Saturday and new people haven't checked in yet. But Saturday was the easiest to find a spot, least crowded day.
Yeah, so if you want that prime spot, you're gonna have to get down there early, unfortunately. Right. So for some people, that's okay because they're getting up that early anyways.
The time change, yeah.
The time change, but that's kind of our favorite spot. And then at some point during the day, we always end up getting a drink. You've got a new favorite drink, I think, there.
I love the coconut mint mojito. It's
Say it again a little louder.
Coconut mint mojito. It's
okay. Why do you like it?
It's like a shake. It's lovely.
It's a beautiful green color.
It's pretty green. It's pretty. It tastes good.
Perfect for the hot day.
Perfect for the hot day. I also like a Mai Tai at the pool.
Yeah, the Mai Tais are good. I am a beer drinker, so I like the Fire Rock Pale Ale. One thing I will say, so we went up the very first day, and this leads to a story that we'll get to in just a second, but the one thing I really appreciate about Aulani, and I really noticed it this time, is for the most part, as much as they can, everything that they sell there is local. So like almost all the beers on tap, and they had Budweiser on tap, Bud Light I think, or something like that, but other than that, it was all Hawaiian based beers,
right?
And that's kind of consistent along with everything that they do there. They've kicked Joffrey's to the side, although there is Joffrey's coffee for you lovers out there still in the rooms, but they've got Honolulu coffee back there as far as what they serve down in the Ulu Cafe, and I really appreciate that aspect of it. So yeah, Fire Rock is by Kona Brewing was my favorite poolside
beer choice.
Yeah, beer choice or drink choice. Talk about the sandy area down, or the beach area. One thing that people don't realize down there is they actually have boogie boards, and then they do have a couple like younger kids things that you can check out for free. There's
like sand toys and boogie boards, or Scurfer kind of boards.
Yeah, Scurfer boards, and then some sand toys that are free. Just go down there and check them out if you're a DVC member. I believe, I'm not sure if the DVC thing has anything to do with it.
I don't know.
No, I think it's just if you're staying at the hotel.
When we were in the sand toy age, we had our own sand toys that stayed at Papa and Tutu's, so I don't know anything about that.
Paddle boards are about $45 an hour, and even though it looks kind of small, I really enjoy it. Although we didn't do it this time, I actually do enjoy going out there and just paddling around for an hour. We talked about Andy's Beach House. Something that Chad asked me, and he didn't know this, but there's a pathway that goes around the lagoon right in front of Aulani there, and that path goes all the way along the four lagoons. So
right, all the way to the marina at the end.
And it's a really nice.
It's a nice morning walk.
Yeah, a lot of people do morning walks. We did evening walks after dinner sometimes along there, and just it's really well manicured. Like everything is well taken care of. And you get some really pretty views.
For sure.
So another good place to run early in the morning. You'll see a lot of people running along there as well. Anything else about the beach or the pools?
It is usually easier to find a beach chair than a pool chair. Especially if you get there late in the day, it's easier to find a spot at the pool or at the beach.
Yeah, at the beach, and there's more chairs down there that have umbrellas. So if you're looking for like a little bit of shade too, that's kind of nice. The one where we go, there's the umbrellas. I think have become less and less.
Yeah. Well, when we wondered this time, it's because now that the Ama is open, the umbrellas in the area where we like to sit block the Ama view. So we wondered if that was why. We didn't ask though. They
also have 3 for sure. I think there might be 4 private areas you can rent. So kind of like little cabanas. Yeah. So if you're into that, they're pretty big where they have several chairs and definitely shade and that type of stuff that you can rent through Aulani. And I know that they have some cabanas over by the infinity pool as well that you can rent for.
I think so. Yeah.
For families. So some different options there if you want to spend a little extra money and have a little bit more privacy and not have to worry about finding a chair. All right, let's turn to food. Off the hook. What do you?
I always like off the hook.
But you've got what's your thoughts on off the hook?
So in the very beginning, the menu was pretty diverse, and I feel like last time we were here 2 years ago, or at Aulani 2 years ago, they told us that they really have they struggle with figuring out exactly what to put on the menu, right? And at first it was more like, it felt islandy, and now this time it felt like they had some more like big entree kind of things. Like you could order a steak there, which seems, we've always liked, go, take a break from the pool, run in there, eat a sandwich, burger, some pizza, something like that, and then get back out and do the pool, like it's never was like a get dressed and go have a steak kind of place. You know? So some of the things that they have had over the years, I miss that they no longer have. But the gal this time told us that they used to be Off the Hook was the poolside menu. So it was all day and then into the evening, and that they're trying to make those two things different. So the poolside menu has some of the things that I like the Kahlua pork tacos and that kind of stuff. So you can eat that for lunch at your pool chair, and then they have more, you know, heartier dinner type stuff at Off the Hook. I think I'd rather have a teriyaki burger than a French dip. And I'd rather have, I don't know, grilled chicken than a steak.
Yeah. It's still a great place.
It is great.
We love the bar and the feel of it.
The location and the servers are all long-term Aulani employees, and they're all great.
Yeah, matter of fact, I don't remember her name, but we've had her
She's
several
at 17
times.
years. She's been there since. Well, that's not true. That can't be right. She's been there since the beginning.
Yeah, she's been.
Which is not 17 years.
No, but she's been there since the beginning. So. Long-term in place. And we had a long chat with one of the bartenders one night. We went down and had Mai Tais after dinner. And it was interesting. She had a couple comments. Her daughter was working there, and she was actually, Dizzy was paying for her college.
Yeah.
So she's gone to college online through, I think, Arizona State.
I think that's what she said, yeah.
I believe. And so she's getting her degree and then working at Aulani at the same time.
Right.
So good to see that there's opportunities like that for people in the islands, because it's hard to find good paying jobs out there.
Right.
For a lot of people. So Off the Hook, definitely 2 thumbs up there. Makahiki, we didn't experience. That's where they have the character dining. That is their main, probably, restaurant, I would say. I believe it is still not a buffet. When I looked at it, it looked like it was still kind of a la carte, or, you know, order off the menu for both breakfast and dinner. So we did not do that. The Olea Room has kind of changed. Now, the Olea Room is the kind of the main bar that's right off of Makahiki. It's a really beautiful bar that you go into, and it used to be like nobody really knew about it, and you would go in there and you could always like get a table or go up to the bar or whatever else. And now it seems like they've expanded the food options.
I think that they maybe have music more often now too. Like I think it maybe used to only be like once or twice a week, and now it's every night.
But I don't think people are necessarily always going there for the music. I think it's a different food option that people enjoy, because they have like sushi there. They have a lot of different choices instead of having like a burger and that type of stuff. They've got some different choices,
like
there.
Salads and sushi and
And you basically, if there was room at the bar, you could go and sit there, and we did that one night. But otherwise, it's like you almost had to have a reservation.
It can be a little bit of a wait, but I will say when I was there at Aulani in May with my friends, we did takeout from there, and it was great to just go. You know, we ordered it, took it back up to the room, and it was nice.
Yeah. So we went there We went there one night with my parents after we went over to, and we'll talk about Monkey Pod here in a little bit. And I guess this is why it's kind of got me a little confused as far as it goes, because we came back and there's plenty of tables open, and there was some great, and this is where you're going to find the local music in the evening. Some great local groups. If you want to, not all of it is always local Hawaiian music, but when you find that, I mean, I kind of miss it. It's really good. And luckily there was a couple of young guys that were playing, and it turned out that the person that was checking us into the table, it was actually 2 of his instructors. Yeah. Or teachers that he'd gone to school, which was kind of cool. But it took him quite a while to like check us in just to go sit at a table, and that's where it was kind of.
It was funny. It was interesting. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the whole process was, but yeah.
Anyways, yeah. But if you get worth it, once you get the table, I mean, just amazing music, and I'm gonna add a little bit of that at the end here.
Okay.
So, Aomai by Kali'i Rochelle, who's the one that sings as you walk in. You hear the great music in the Grand Hall as you walk into Aulani, and he is well known in the islands. If you know anything about Hawaiian music, he's my mom's favorite.
Yes, and Steve's dad requested the song because it was like really us and maybe one other group, and the guys that were singing said, does anybody have a song they want us to play? And Steve's dad tossed out the name of the song.
Aomai.
Yeah, and the guy said, "Wow, and here we thought you were just regular old tourists like everybody else, and you're tossing out Kali'i Rochelle."
And one of his hardest ones or something
One of the hardest songs. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, wait a minute, where did you people come from?
And I'm going to try and find it, because we stayed at Aulani the very first year it was opened, and Kali'i Rochelle was there, and we were walking along.
And we have a picture.
Got a picture of my mom with him, which is kind of cool. So he used to tour out here on the West Coast, and unfortunately, he's not touring anymore, and it's kind of a loss for all of us, because I would love to have gone. I would love to go see him sometime. So I guess, yeah, enough about that. All right,
We did
so
yours, yeah.
Ama, if we didn't go there, some thoughts? You looked at the menu?
I did look at the menu. I'm not super picky, but I'm also not a very adventurous eater, and I'm extremely picky about seafood. So it was not a good menu for me. But if you love seafood, and I'm sure it's amazing the way that it's prepared, and I'm sure it's all fresh, and I'm sure it's well worth the price, but it would have been lost on me, and it would have been definitely lost on our children. So yeah.
But good to see it open.
Yes,
it's
for
been
sure.
Closed for
And
a
it
long
was
time.
crowded. It was great.
It was busy every night.
Clearly, it was a me problem, not a restaurant problem.
And busy during the afternoon too for lunch as well. But the place that we're going to throw out to you and really give a thumbs up to, if you can fit it into your trip, is Monkey Pod, and that's right across the street from Aulani in the little shopping center. I love the decor of this place. There's one over on Maui as well. There's a couple on Maui. This is the only one that I know that's on Oahu. I wish they would have one down in Waikiki and all.
Yeah, apparently that's started to happen pre-pandemic, and it is been on hold. But that might be TBD, I guess, on that.
To be determined on that one. But so I called them. You can get reservations there, but they take very limited reservations. They were already booked up for the night that we wanted to go. But she said, for 7 people, which is what we had, at about 6:30, it'd probably be about a 30-minute wait.
And it was.
And so we walked over there, and I think they called our number by about 6:50 or so. 6:55.
And there's all kinds of shops over there, and so it's easy to kill some time while you're waiting.
So, and the food just amazing.
It's really good, and huge variety. And
yeah, pizzas, burgers. I had really good fish tacos that I had them blackened that were amazing. What did you have?
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos also.
Not blackened.
Not blackened. I think my dad got the fish tacos as well.
Yeah.
But food really well, and price point wise, 7 of us, it was the same price for 7 of us at Monkey Pod. Was the same price for 5 of us as at Off the Hook. Matter of fact, I think Off the Hook was just a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we had it, yeah.
And the food in my mind, the food at Off the Hook is good, but Monkey Pod just blows it out of the water in my mind, I guess. So
Monkey Pod's good.
Yeah, so definitely give 2 thumbs up there. Now, another place that I knew it was down there, we just have never been there, but talking to the people next to us in the chairs, they went and ate there, is Longi's. Longi's is another island chain, and I hate to say chain, it's just that they have couple different restaurants on all the islands. It's Longi's Steakhouse. I did not look at the menu, but this couple walked down there quite a bit. It's on Cove 1. We're on Cove... Oh, excuse me. Other way around. We're on Cove 1 at Aulani. It's on Cove 3, so just a couple coves down is a huge Marriott timeshare complex, and it's in there. And you can go in there. I believe you can make reservations. The spelling is Longhis, Longi's, so that might be another option to look at.
Right.
But the best bang for your buck is the Ulu Cafe. As far as Aulani goes, that's your quick service. They usually have different things in the morning, and then usually in the afternoon and the evenings they'll have a specific entree that they cook up hot, but then they also have salads and sandwiches.
Yeah, it's good. Breakfast is they have breakfast pizzas, and they have just regular eggs and potatoes and breakfast wrap, and they have yogurt, and they have fruit, and you can buy cereal in there. It's a good deal. And
Yeah, Ulu's your probably best bang for your buck as far as like money wise.
For sure.
On Aulani. One thing we wanted to throw out, I hadn't seen these before. I don't know if how new they are, but they now have. So they have the refill cups just like at Walt Disney World that you can get. And if you're somebody that likes I think they have Powerade, but they definitely had why can't I say it? Smart water and what's the flavored water?
The vitamin water.
Vitamin water. They definitely have vitamin water. So it's not.
I think maybe that's what the kids are drinking. It's the vitamin water.
Yeah, it's not just all sodas. So they do have some other options. But if that's something that if you're going to be there for a week, that's probably worth spending the money for. It's $23 for the plastic cups, kind of the ones that you get at Walt Disney World. But they've got some new. They're not Tervis, but Tervis-like cups that are bigger for $35. They're $34.99.
And they're pretty.
Yeah, I love the little decor on it. We got 2 of those. Wake and I had them. And they're a little bit bigger, and they keep things cold the whole day.
They do.
Well, maybe not the whole day, but they keep
pretty close. Yeah.
They're probably
they keep ice overnight. There's that. We do know that for sure.
So those are a couple options, and they don't have the chip like Walt Disney World. You can go back as much as you want.
Yeah.
where Walt Disney World, I can't remember how it works. It's like
Yeah, I know.
you can only go every now and then or something like that. All right, so a couple more things to touch on before we get out of here. As I was talking about, I was talking to when the first time they were there, we went up to the bar and I was talking to the bartender, and he was saying that I was asking about the different beers that they had, and he said that the only brewery that he knew was, I think it's Honolulu Beer Works, which is on the island right now on Oahu. But then he said, right around the corner from Aulani is a place called Kohana, and that's where they get some of their rum from, and it's just a local distillery. You should check it out. And so I pulled up online, was sitting there looking at the ocean, and sure enough, they had a rum tour. So I was like, hey, let's go over and do this rum tour, just something different. While my parents are there, they hung out, and they were there in case the kids needed anything. And so Wake and I kind of went over one morning, booked a tour at 11. It was $25 each, and checked out Kohana. What did you think?
It was great.
What did you like about it?
That it's the working distillery, that they're actually doing the work there, and the fields are there. Not like right there, but you can see all the different kinds of sugar cane that they use, and kind of learn a little bit about the agricultural process, and that they're working to kind of revitalize it and do it the right way, both economically and environmentally. And it was pretty cool.
Now, you're going to need a car to get there because it's not an easy way to get there.
Right, yeah.
And it was probably about a 25-minute drive, I think, maybe that's 20 minutes or so to get over there.
We stopped at Target on the way to buy more Pog.
I forgot about that. Maybe that's why it was 25 minutes. Okay.
Anyway,
but yeah, a really cool little place run by locals. The gal that was giving us a tour, her boyfriend was studying at the University of Hawaii Manoa, and he was working on I can't remember what he was.
As a sustainable agricultural type product, working to domesticate stevia.
Stevia, that's right. So stevia, the artificial sugar sweetener. Yeah. And so Kohana actually owns the only sugarcane fields now on the island of Oahu, and so all of their sugar canes, we asked about that too, is if it all goes into the rum, and it does. Mm-hmm. And it was just really kind of it's cool. That's something that's really important in Hawaii for a lot of the people over there, is sustainable farming and really using their resources smartly.
Sustainable economy, right?
Yeah.
It helps, yeah.
And it's cool to find a small place like that and support it. So they told us a little bit about the land, then they talked about the distilling process, and they took us into the barrel room, which is if you like I guess hard alcohol, for those of you out there, it's super fascinating how all of that works. But they actually get their barrels from Tennessee.
I can't remember. It was like silver something or other. I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but it's a similar barrel maker that a lot of the other whiskey and distilleries back in the Southeast use. And on top of, she was talking about, some of the rum gets distilled or they put some of the rum into those barrels afterwards to, enhance the flavors and everything like that. But because they also work with restaurants, and some of the restaurants, because they sell so much, it's like Woodford or different bourbons like that, that the distilleries that make that bourbon will send them a barrel.
Right.
And then the restaurants are like, well, this is awesome, but we don't know what to do with this barrel. So they give it to Kohana. And then Kohana started using it to take some of their rum that they've distilled and put it in those barrels and add the flavors to it.
Change them.
And it was just amazing, some of the ones that we got to try.
Right.
But the piece de resistance for them was, if you know anything about Hawaii, there's something called koa wood over there. And koa wood is a very hard wood. It's beautiful wood, and it's very expensive because there's not very much of it.
It only grows on the Big Island.
It only grows on the Big Island. And they actually had, I think, 8 barrels. They were the only distillery in the world, or the islands, that have.
I think she said the world.
Yeah, and they're $18,000 each.
A piece, the barrels.
Yeah, and they had some of the rum there that they put into those barrels, and that was, I think, like one of their top rums.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
It was good. Yeah.
We get to try that at the end, and you have to pay a little bit extra to try that one, but it was well worth it. So I really enjoyed going to do that because it wasn't on our radar at all. We
totally different, yeah.
Did it on a whim. It's like right around the corner from where my parents' condo is, so we will definitely be back to.
Yeah, it was cool
to support them. Coho is the kind of the main rum. Well, they've got the 2 white rums, and then Coho's probably their main one that they sell that they age. And then Koa, their Koa brand, is the one that goes in the actual Koa wood barrel. So definitely love that. So we've talked about a lot of different things. Wait, touch on what do you think the kids thought about being over there? Now they're a little bit older, so Andrew's 16, going on 17, and Charlie and Alex are basically 13.
I think they enjoy it. I think it's a place they're comfortable because they've been so many times. I also think that what they want to do there has changed, as the time goes on. But the slides are still fun even for adults, and the lazy river is fun. And this time, they actually met a whole group of kids that they were out, throwing the football around and doing tag in the lazy river, and they were doing all kinds of, they were going out after dinner and meeting up with their people, and it was great. It felt like a cruise.
It really did feel like a cruise.
It felt like we're like, oh wow, okay. I guess we'll entertain ourselves.
We both got great vacations. It's like I think Andrew at one time said, like, you guys go have your romantic vacation, and we're gonna go have some fun and play with some friends.
Right. Yeah.
So it was really cool that way. Now that they've gotten a little bit older, younger kids over at Auntie's, I'm sure they meet some kids and play while they're in Auntie's beach house. But it was cool to see the older kids kind of gravitate towards each other and have a good time together.
I think they met like the first night in the hot tub. Like, okay.
I know. Yeah, a bunch of boys and girls together too, having a good time.
Yeah.
So,
they'll exchange numbers at the end, and it was good.
That was fun to see. So a couple, I guess, do's for us as we get out of here for Aulani. Do definitely book early for dining if you want to eat there. Also book early if you're going to go to Pearl Harbor. If you can, go to Monkey Pod.
Yep. Do stop at Target or Costco on your way and stock up on snacks and breakfast and all that. Just cost savings.
Mm-hmm.
Suntan lotion.
Suntan lotion. Yep, lots of suntan lotion. And even when it's cloudy there, make sure you put suntan lotion on because the rays will come through.
Yes. Yes, they will.
As you found out.
Yeah, I usually put sunscreen on I put sunscreen on my face, and then I usually wear a hat also. And I don't know if it's because we're also usually then under an umbrella, but we were not in a spot under the umbrella, and I got a little more sun than I should have on one of the days.
Well,
even with the sunscreen on.
Even with the sunscreen, it happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of our thoughts about Aulani. It's a beautiful resort. We can't wait to go back. We'll be back next time. I can't remember. When are we going to next summer? Not this coming summer.
We did book summer of 24.
Yeah.
Or we will book summer of 24.
Yeah, plan on going back summer of 24. But if you get an opportunity to go out there and do it, just highly encourage you to do it. But and I guess the last thing, which we already said, is if you're going to spend a lot of time going around the island and you're just going to be there a short time, maybe consider a couple of days, maybe down at Waikiki or someplace like that, where you can just pack in the stuff that you want to do around the island, and then you can really just relax and enjoy the time, because it went by fast. And
it does always go by fast.
I thought that we would be out and about doing more, but we really just kind of enjoyed not doing not running around.
Yeah.
Which is not usually like us.
No.
So, any final thoughts, Wake?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it all.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look back at our spring break in Aulani. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me, Steve at DCLpodcast.com, and we'll do the best to find an answer for you. And I guess as we get out of here, if you are headed out on a cruise, headed to Aulani, maybe heading down to the parks, or springtime weekend is springtime weekend.
It's next weekend.
I guess as this comes out, it will be this coming weekend for Run Disney. On behalf of myself, Ahnawake, and also Christy and Nova, all of us at the DCL Podcast, we want to wish you to be well, enjoy time with family and friends, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.